Welcome to All About the Philippines. In this video I'm going to give you information and tips that will likely save you much heartache down the track if you're looking to date or marry a Filipina. What I have to say is straight to the point and direct, which I hope will give you some things to seriously consider. So just hold on one moment and we'll get to the video in a flash. Looking to date a Filipina or already dating or married to a Filipina? I use my experiences around my relationship with my Filipino wife of 6 years, as well as my professional experience as a qualified relationship counsellor for the past 10 years to help you on your way. Are you after information, tips and resources for a successful relationship with a Filipina and maintain it? Too easy. Just take a second to subscribe and click the bell icon and I promise you'll never miss out again. The facts are that many people who are looking to find and date a Filipina with the view of marriage are generally men from a variety of countries, but very commonly from Australia like myself, or the UK, USA, Canada and various countries through Europe. Many of these guys, we could safely say, are from the age group of 50 and up, although I do believe there are increasing numbers of younger males looking for Filipinas. But many of these older guys that are over the age of 50 are coming out or have been out of a long-term relationship for many years and may be disillusioned with the women in their own country, or they may have been widowed after many years of marriage and is now looking for a Filipina mainly to take care of him and his needs. Many of these men will commence their search for a Filipina online. They may try Facebook groups and find too many scammers there and move on to the online dating site where things are somewhat more controlled. And by the way, if any guy's looking for a reputable online dating site, check my pinned comment below and click on the affiliate link and you could be chatting to many Filipinas within minutes. But just hold off doing that until after this video finishes, because there's a lot of information that will be so important for you to find the right Filipina. So when these guys get into the dating sites, they'll be going through the many Filipina profiles, and these guys are really like a kid in a candy store. The selection is wide and varied, from extremely young and beautiful Filipinas with an amazing body, and many of these older guys will contemplate having such a young Filipina to be in a relationship because he knows that no woman in his country would ever give him the time of the day. They may wonder what it's like to be with a beautiful young woman, as it's been 40 or 50 years since they were last with a woman of that age. As he keeps looking through the profiles, he will see older women, perhaps 30, 40 and 50 years of age. And many of these women do still look quite attractive at this age. And I guess that's the genetic influence of many Filipinas. At this point, the man will have so much to consider, and the choice he makes will determine the outcome of his relationship before it's even started. Right here and now is make or break, and if he's been heartbroken by a failed marriage or because he's been widowed, then he can't afford more heartbreak now. So what are the possible scenarios from here? Does he look for a young, beautiful Filipina with a great body, or does he take the older Filipina whose body may not be as firm as it once was, but she still is quite an attractive woman? And one must also consider the Filipina at this time, because she can also get very hurt from all of this if something goes wrong or the wrong choices are made. Let's firstly look at the younger Filipina in the age bracket of 18 to 30. Some people and Filipinas may not like or agree with what I'm about to say, but it is the truth as I see it. Filipinas from the age of 18 through to around the age of 30 haven't lived what I call a full life. They lack much of life's experiences, and during this time in their life they're discovering themselves and growing as each year goes by. Their likes and dislikes will change, and that includes what they want to achieve in their relationships. To make it clear, what a woman wants when she's 18 or 20 is vastly different to what she might want when she's at age 30. And this is a very natural thing to happen for any woman from any country in the world. And of course, at this tender age, women haven't got a high degree of maturity, especially many Filipinas who do seem to take a bit longer to mature. Maturity is a huge factor in having a successful relationship long term, and even more so as the age gap between the couple increases. Let's look at it this way. A young couple, both around 20 years of age, will be immature, but they don't see it that way. They will see it just as being silly and having fun. They may make many mistakes together, but this will help them grow together and mature together. But when you have a 20-year-old Filipina in a relationship with, let's say, a 60-year-old man who has lived a pretty full life and certainly has found his place in the world and found who he is and what he wants from life, then problems are most certain to arise. The reality is very simple. She will grow and change greatly, and the guy will remain the same. At the start of the relationship, the guy will look at her and see that she is rather immature, and at that time it may seem like just a bit of fun and it's not really a big deal. But as time goes by, he will find that he's treating her more like a child than a wife of his. And of course, it's a natural thing that a young Filipina who is not matured wants to say and do what you may consider silly things. And when you try and stop her or change her, she's going to start to resent you, and from this, arguments or problems slowly but surely will creep into the relationship. And what about this young Filipina who is now in a foreign country and each year is gaining in maturity and her outlook on life? She'll most likely realise being married to a much older man is no longer as exciting as it once was, or what she may have imagined it would be. At some point, something has to give, and you really need to ask yourself before you even start looking for a Filipina, do the benefits of having such a young, beautiful Filipina outweigh what will be most likely a negative outcome in the long term? You hear people say all the time that age is just a number, but right here I've showed you that it's not as simple as that. Play smart and increase your odds and know what a more mature Filipina will bring to the relationship. Yes, a Filipina aged over 30 may have a child or even children. Some above the age of 40 may have adult children. Some guys will see a Filipina with any kids of any age as a problem, and others may view it as an extension of his own family. But the main benefit of dating and marrying a Filipina over the age of 30 is the maturity factor. She's lived a good life and gained much experience. She's set in her ways and she knows who she is and what she wants out of life. She's unlikely to go through any major changes as the years go by, and such by choosing an older Filipina, you are, as I say, increasing your odds for long-term success within that relationship. Having said all this, you'll also need to consider carefully if she has any young children, and if you intend to bring the Filipina to your country to live at any stage, are you prepared to bring the child or children also to your country to be with their mother? This is something not to be taken lightly, and really need to have a good think about it, because it is such a huge responsibility, not only to take on the Filipina but also to take on any children she may have, and if you're up for that challenge. I was actually told by a migration agent when I was bringing my stepdaughter to Australia that many Australian men who marry and bring their Filipina wife to Australia don't end up bringing their child or children with them. To me, this was very heartbreaking, and surely something that would worry a Filipina to be separated from her child. And in many of these cases, the fact was that the man didn't want to have a child. He didn't want to bring her child to Australia. He wanted just to have the wife and to have their life together with no children. And a lot of this is because he's probably a much older man and he feels that his time with kids are done. To me, this is one of the biggest hurdles you may face when choosing an older Filipina. If you can get around that, then you'll find that the more mature the Filipina, the less games that will be played. Mostly the love scams in the Philippines are done by the younger, attractive Filipinas, and I did say mostly. Nothing is ever guaranteed in life, but as I say, if you stack the odds in your favour, the chances of having a long-term and happy, successful relationship has drastically increased in your favour. The questions are, have you thought carefully about the age factor when looking for a Filipina? Or when you commenced dating a Filipina, did you think hard on how old she should be? For me at the time, I was 49 and I felt a Filipina under the age of 30 would limit my chances of success. When I started chatting online with my now wife, I found out she was 29 going on 30. I still had to give a lot of thought about this, and after a while of chatting I could realise that she was mature and she was responsible and she was independent, so she ticked all three boxes on that front. And as they say, the rest is now history. Anyway guys, I hope this video has given you plenty of food for thought. Be sure to put your thoughts down in the comments below, but remain respectful to the community. Be sure to like the video if you found it interesting, thought-provoking or informative. Feel free to share the video with all your networks and subscribe to our friendly community if you haven't already done so. And press the bell icon to get all our future videos. Thanks very much for watching guys. I appreciate all your support. Take care and bye for now.